Hey everyone, this is the 215 Seamer podcast. I am Austin Cass, your co-host. I'm here with Dylan Campbell and Connor Doherty. Today we have a lot to talk about in the MLB world. We have predictions for the NL East for the upcoming months. So this is now the year baseball will be played, as well as bullpen issues and what can be done to fix by any effort. And we will also talk about the big news about the new MLB lockout hosted by Jeff Pass. And sorry for my stutter. I just kind of almost ate my tongue. My gosh, that was actually the scariest moment of my life. I was talking and I was like, why is my tongue going behind my mouth? And it just didn't stop. Sorry for being a little graphic. Just wanted to ask so how everyone's week was since we last talked.
Dylan, how was your
Yeah,
week?
it was good. I can't complain. Aside from the little beatdown by the Cowboys on Saturday night, everything went pretty smoothly.
I
I was
agree.
there, yeah.
You were
I
there.
was there.
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
was
inside
too.
the stadium, but we me and a couple of my buddies took the train down and into the city, and then you know you could probably
Yeah,
guess what we were doing outside the
absolutely. Yeah, some
stadium.
shenanigans. Yeah,
It was freezing cold, guys. Probably
brutal.
one of the coldest nights I've ever been outside. Though we left before halftime because it was so cold.
Mm.
Like we had hand warmers in our pockets and everything. Um, just absolutely freezing out. Still fun though, and I was keeping up with the game on Twitter and saw Dak threw for 5 touchdowns against I can't even name the guys that the Eagles are throwing out there on the field.
Uh,
Don't matter, they'll go Birds.
Oh yeah, go
go
Birds,
birds.
definitely. I'm really excited for this upcoming week. I think the Eagles are going to win. I think they're going to beat the
Me
Buccaneers. I
too.
know this is a Philadelphia Phillies podcast, but let me tell you, I really think the Eagles got a shot even to beat the Packers. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want people to be like, "What are you talking about? This is baseball, not football." But I'm just saying that, and not to mention Tom McCartney, Philadelphia Phillies announcer, will be
Hmm.
on Westwood Radio
Yeah.
doing the play-by-play for the Tampa Bay game because he does do the Tampa Bay games, which means he will be trying to root for the Eagles kind of while having to do his job. I feel so bad for him. And if I remember correctly, he's always been an Eagles fan, so it must be really rough. Dylan, what about you?
Yeah, I think we have a real shot. You don't want to cut Philly in the playoffs with momentum on their side. And I know Saturday was a loss, but we weren't really playing our guys. And Tampa's looked weak, and they've looked fallible. I think we can get something going with the running attack, and if you get going early on, we should be good to go.
I agree with you, man. I really do. I think our running game is so much better than what they were at the Bucks and
Mhm.
such. And you know what? I'm just glad that the Eagles were able to actually work on the easiest schedule, unlike the Philadelphia Phillies, which broke my heart this year when we couldn't beat
Oh my
the
God.
Orioles. Don't even talk about it. I could hear you say that.
Next.
All right, all right.
Yeah,
If that's the
Next.
Orioles, the Diamondbacks.
all
Oh,
right,
don't
if
even get me
that's up the
going.
case, then Connor, you're first up to bat in the ninth inning. Connor, what do you got for us today?
So I'm gonna start talking about my predictions for how the NL East is gonna shape up in 2022. Nice little voice crack to get us started. Um, Before I place my teams, I'm gonna say that I have the Phillies finishing third,
Mm.
which
Ooh.
I feel like is a fair spot.
It,
Um,
it's sad, but it is a
obviously,
fair spot. Yeah.
obviously, I have the Braves first, defending champs. They're getting Acuna back. I would assume that they would get Freeman back. I haven't heard anything. Maybe Toronto or the Yankees, but I don't think he would leave. If he does leave, I do think he would stay on the East Coast. Um, like I said, they're going to get Acuna back. I think he's the most underrated player in baseball. I think he's better than Judge.
Hmm.
I don't want to say he's better than Harper, but I think they're both right there. Um, Dansby Swanson has a lot to prove. I think he's in his walk year. If he plays a solid first half of the year, he could get locked up. I know they have Acuna on a extremely team friendly contract for the next. I don't even know how many, like 8 to 10 years. They have
It's
Albies on a
stupid.
similar contract. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like they're going to be paying their two maybe best players in a few years' time, like a combined 20 million. I mean, the front office is amazing. They scout extremely well. Their farm system is still, it's not as strong as what it was a few years ago, obviously, but I mean, they're reaping the rewards of it. They've already got a ring. And I think Austin Riley's an extremely underrated third baseman as well. If he even still plays third base, I don't. He might be
He
their
does,
left
yeah.
fielder now that Ozuna's gone. That Ozuna is, I think he's still gone. I don't know if the Players Association will negotiate something to bring him back, but even if they don't, Austin Riley still extremely good hitter. Can do a lot of things. Can probably play a lot of positions. Maybe similar to Chris Bryant, which I mean, hey, if Chris Bryant ends up signing with the Mets, that's not great. Which is a pretty good segue into my second place team, which is the New York Mets. Unless you guys have anything else to add with the defending
I
champion
might
Atlanta Braves.
piggyback real quick if you don't mind. I think I completely agree with you. I think the Braves are a powerhouse and they're going to steamroll the NL East. And last year, they kind of just got going late. You know what I mean? I think it was kind of
Right.
fluky by the fact that they didn't dominate. But just comparing the Braves to the Phillies, and it pains me as a Phillies fan, it's how you build an organization. You know what I mean? I mean, their farm system is
Yeah.
loaded. They have still really good pitching behind them in like AAA and AA coming up. They draft college pitchers. Guys, how many times do we need to say it? Those people come in and they make an impact. Yeah, completely agree with what you're saying.
I didn't even. Who's the one pitcher that they're going to get back from the Achilles? It's not Freed, is it? I forget his
Freed,
name.
it's is it the Wake Forest guy?
It might be.
Vanderbilt guy?
No,
Oh
I
no,
can't
no,
think of
no.
his
It's
name.
Soroka or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that's
ooh,
it,
yeah,
Mike
it's Sirocco.
Soroka.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna get their ace back. They still have Freed. They still have Ian Anderson. So that's a really good 1-2-3 punch right there. Charlie Morton. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
that's a stupid good rotation. I would say it's best in baseball, but the Mets, I don't even know if it's the best in the division now. The Mets don't really have much there behind DeGrom and Scherzer, and I know they have that third guy. Blanking on his name too, but I mean, for the Phillies, they probably have the third best rotation in the NL East. But anyway, back to the Mets. Their durability is always a question. DeGrom was having actually, like, I think maybe even a record-setting year. He had like a 1.08 ERA. Not sure if my math is exactly correct, but getting him back is going to be a big plus. Bringing in Scherzer is an amazing move. I'm interested to see how Buck Showalter manages, though, because he hasn't managed a team since the Orioles, and he hasn't managed in the playoffs since close to maybe 2014, I want to say.
It was 2014.
Yeah, so he hasn't managed in 2 years. He hasn't managed in the playoffs in 8 years. You're banking on 1 to 2 healthy seasons from Scherzer and DeGrom. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because it could be a boom or bust kind of thing. If Scherzer shows his age, probably not going to. But if he does, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. DeGrom, he's probably going to be healthy. He's probably going to be dominant again for the first 2 months, at least, and then we'll see where he goes from there. But I have them at second because I think that their pitching and offense, like they're kind of like the Phillies. They're an extremely top heavy team. I think if they can maintain like pretty decent position throughout the first couple months of the season and be in pretty good position come the trade deadline, I can see them adding another arm or two, probably another bat. I think Lindor is going to have a better year. I'm not sure if they're going to bring back Conforto or not, based on what they've shown so far in free agency. Probably not. They already signed Marte, so I doubt that they would consider bringing him back. So I don't know. I think he'll get a 1-year deal somewhere. But that's where I have the Mets. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll add just really quickly. I think the Mets are really good and they had a down year last year. Two things. I think they're in a similar, like you said, boom and bust situation as the Phillies. There's not a lot behind them, right? So it's these couple of years of contention and that's it. And you're hoping to kind of eke the most out of it. And you've got a really aging core, especially with bringing Scherzer along. So what they've done is they've gone and spent, right? And they bring in every agent. They overpaid Max Scherzer, but that's what they had to do. It probably will work out at least for this year. And it's the kind of thing you need to do if you want to be in true contention. I don't know if John Middleton really wants the team to be in true contention. So that's kind of that side of it. And then I think the Buck Showalter thing is interesting because he's been known to kind of have an iron fist and roll like a locker room with an iron fist. And is that what the Mets need? You saw last year with their fan disputes and they're kind of just falling apart at the seams. It'll be interesting to see if that kind of strong presence helps them.
And I agree with you. I think the New York Mets are in an aging corpse of their entire franchise. Their whole franchise as a whole is just a complete trash. I'll be honest. Like, as I'm really am scared about that pitching core. I think Scherzer's going to be really tougher on us. Like when you have to go against DeGrom and then Scherzer, I'm sorry, that's you can't tell them, like, even with Scherzer being old, like that's just not going to be good for us. Like that back to back punch is going to be like round 1, round 2 KO. Like that would be terrible for us. I think Scherzer might be a little bit on the down end of his career. I'm not saying he's going to be completely, though. I think that was
the Scherzer's down end is like any other pitcher's
exactly,
prime.
exactly, bro. Like I can't say enough about like how Scherzer was the best pickup for them and that they could really be nasty. But I just wanted to ask, so what do you think the Nationals are going to be placed? Because I just want to know.
I have the Nationals at the bottom.
You think the Marlins are going to be better than the Nationals?
I do. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Obviously, I have the Phillies third, but if we're going to talk about the Marlins, they're starting to. I don't know if they're starting to really come together and going to win games yet, but I think they're going to win more games than the Nationals, and that is the sole reason why I have them fourth and the Nationals fifth. I think the Nationals are just. Yeah, they're the Nats. Honestly, I could see them moving Josh Bell this winter.
Yes.
If there wasn't a lockout, I could have seen them moving Josh Bell. I could also see them looking to move Corbin. And if they're really, really bad in the first half of the year, I could see them taking calls on Strasburg. Because why not? If they're going to rebuild, then why not just rebuild the right way? You have the stud catcher you got in the Scherzer deal, Kyber Ruiz, I think is his name. So you have your catcher of the future. You have a couple good pitchers in the system coming up. Like start to just collect prospects, as many as you can. Numbers wise, some of them are going to hit, some of them aren't. But they are starting to run out of guys to trade, mostly because they traded everyone at this deadline that we just had. But going back to the Marlins, I think they have good pitchers. I know they extended Alcantara, however you say his name. They brought in Jacob Stallings from Pittsburgh. He's a good catcher. I think he's really underrated, and the only reason that he was slightly undervalued was because he played in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's not a good team at all right now. So I think he'll be good. They still have Brian Anderson. So they've got a pretty decent lineup. They're in the mix for Castellanos. He's a Miami native. Could definitely see him going there. Just overall, I think they're a team on the rise. They're rebuilding the right way. Jeter's got some deep pockets to be able to go out and get some free agents other than Castellanos. And I think definitely, probably not this year, but definitely next year, if they can go out and maybe get another starter, get another 2 starters, or get some more bats. I think that they could be a wild card team to watch in 2023. But I mean, what do you guys think about the Marlins or the Nats?
I actually think the
I
Nationals will be number 4. I actually think the Nationals are going to be so much
do.
better than the Marlins. I think they have a better core with Juan Soto. I feel like they can easily win games with just Juan Soto, just in the MAC. But I'm not saying a lot.
Juan Soto.
Juan.
Did I say it wrong? Because I'm sorry. I've been
I think
Juan.
it's just Juan.
one. It's oh my god,
You're
because you know what?
good.
I'm like reading Jawan Howard on my Twitter right now
Oh, okay, gotcha.
because like he just
I
came up on my
gotcha.
feed. I'm so sorry about that. That was embarrassing.
It'd be fun though. Juwan, so
Juan Soto. That would actually be a sick name, but Juan Soto, he's just a fire player, and I think he'll win them like 1 or 2 games off walk-offs, which could actually beat the Marlins. That's my opinion. I think only because of Juan Soto, but I completely agree with you on the other stuff. Like the Nationals really do need to rebuild.
I think it's interesting looking at the Nationals. It was a tale of literally 2 different teams last year, before and after the trade deadline, and they really underachieved, I thought, and they had not a bad core by any means. And then you saw them after the trade deadline, and we were able to beat up on them a little bit, and it was just a completely different team. And it was like, what is going on here? So I wonder how they'll respond. I wonder if those young guys can come up and be plucky. I'd agree with Connor. I'm not sure they're as good as the Marlins, but either team could fall or rise, in my opinion. And Soto's a superstar, and you need to build around him. And Hybrid Ruiz is good, and they have some good pieces. It's just interesting to see where they go. I think the Marlins are awfully tough, and they're always a tough out for the Phillies. I think they have our Sixto Sanchez, who was a big prospect for a long time. They have Jazz Chisholm, who's coming into his own. And I think they're a tough, kind of like a tough out. You don't want to have to go play the Marlins. But yeah.
Right. And I didn't even, obviously it's a really long way away, but the Nationals just brought in Juan Soto's brother, which
I
is great
forgot
news
about
for the
that.
Phillies.
Yeah. He's going to be even better, probably.
No, but it'll be fun in like 10 years to be able to watch Harper, Soto, and the other Soto play the Phillies outfield. Probably have close to 90 million invested in that outfield alone.
Yeah.
But I kind of skipped over the Phillies, who I do have in third. But I mean, you guys know it's the Phillies are maybe the most top heavy team in the majors. They still have a few young guys. I don't know if you would call Eflin a young guy anymore. But for sure, there's still Stott, who I would love to see take the opening day shortstop position whenever opening day is. Bohm, if he can figure it out again. He doesn't have to get back to his rookie year, but if he can get back to just being a serviceable hitter, and if there is a DH in the National League, just plug him over at first base. Then maybe let Nick Maton run around at third base for a little bit, or whoever else you can bring in, Chris Bryant maybe. But I think they still need to go get a backup catcher. I don't know if they believe in Marchand enough to play him more, because they seem to always want to call him up and then send him down in the same day. Maybe that Logan O'Hop kid could do it. Maybe they platoon the backup catcher spot, which in my opinion doesn't make sense, but neither does a lot of the things that the Phillies do. And they need the young outfielders to really develop. They need to start hitting on those guys. I think Moniak and Hazley and Vierling, 2 of those 3 have to show something this year, because maybe not Vierling, but if Moniak and Hazley, like if they're another year in the minors, then I think it's safe to say that it's kind of a wasted pick for both of them, because they already let Cornelius Randolph go. He was first pick back in 2017, I believe. I don't know if he got above AA, which is pretty bad. But they got to start hitting. on these young outfielders. And they DFA'd Adonis Medina. Not a great move in my opinion. They don't have anyone in the bullpen. I would have threw him in the bullpen, see how he did.
Yeah.
But even though I have the Phillies third, I do still have them as a playoff team.
Wild card team.
Yeah, a wild card team. I have the Braves, Mets, and Phillies all making the playoffs from the East. And then obviously the Dodgers and Giants will make it from the West. I could see the Padres sneaking in too, and the Cardinals from the Central. Because this is, I think it's assuming that there's going to be expanded playoffs, NFL style playoffs where
sure hope so.
Like the 1 seed, which in my opinion would be the Braves. The Braves would get the bye, and then you would have like Dodgers, Phillies, Mets, Giants, and then Padres, Cardinals. If you want to go series, or you could do like single elimination wild card games, which I think is more fun personally. But again, going back to the Mets, if they in a wild card game, they're going to win because they have DeGrom and then they have Scherzer in the bullpen, or they have Scherzer and they have DeGrom in the bullpen. And also those guys could probably pitch more than 9 innings if you needed them to. So I don't know, like, what are your guys' thoughts on the East, and if you have predictions, what they're like?
Sure. I guess I'll piggyback off of that just because of time and going with the Phillies. I agree. I don't think the Phillies are going to win the division. I think they have a shot at getting into the wild card and being sneaky good, but
essentially they're a bullpen away, which
they're
they've been for the last 4 years.
Exactly. And I guess I'll get into that now. So much of this team is kind of built on hope and on speculation, right? Because you've missed on so many first-round picks. You've admitted to it now. You've missed on Moniak and you missed on Hazlett, which really stinks. And you're hoping that people can step up. You're hoping that Alec Bohm can step up. You're hoping that Bryson Stott can fill a hole. You're hoping that Rhys Hoskins comes back healthy and that Zach Eflin doesn't take too long coming back from his knee surgery. So it kind of brings me to the point of Corey Knebel. Is that how you say it, I think? Knebel. And so when we signed him, our only real big bullpen signing, 1 year, $10 million. Obviously, he's good, right? Signing him from the Dodgers. What Dave Dombrowski said is that we think he can close games. We think he can do this. We haven't promised it to him. And
yeah, we think.
It's not exactly a glowing endorsement, right? And you have to be guarded, and he has to be guarded because it's such a stain on the Phillies, this awful bullpen. But I think you can't promise anyone anything, and you have to be guarded about it. About Knebel, I think he's good. I don't think he's the answer necessarily, because you're banking on success of a guy who's only pitched 39 innings in the regular season innings in the past 3 years. Obviously, he did well in the playoffs this year. And
Tommy John
2019, exactly. Hamstring injuries, shoulder injuries, and he is a 2-pitch pitcher. He throws a fastball and a curve. And with the Dodgers, he really benefited from using the curve more. He started throwing it 42% of the time as opposed to like 25, 30 in his other seasons. And he was throwing it in a lot of fastball counts. And so, look, he was great, but he only pitched 25.2 regular season innings last year. So when you're doing this very unorthodox approach and you throw 2 pitches, is that going to work over 50 to 70 innings, which like you really need him for? That's kind of tricky in my mind. So I think that the Phillies definitely need to spend more and buy more. But with their luxury tax, restrictions by John Middleton, I don't know how much that's going to happen. And then I think there's a larger issue underneath Knebel. So say Knebel, best case scenario, takes his closing job, right? Who's going to fall underneath him and solidify the role? Because 3 out of the top 5 guys who logged the most innings in the pen last year are gone. Ranger Suarez is the starter. Hector Neris is gone. Archie Bradley are gone. So that's 165 innings with a combined 3.02 ERA, all leading up to the 9th. Are we going to say that Connor Brogdon is going to fill that role along with Coonrod and Alvarado, just those 3 dudes? Are they going to be productive? Are they going to stay healthy? Because they haven't proven that they can do. All of them are talented. And I think they're all could totally be something. They've got high heat, they've got swing and miss stuff. All of them struggle with location. All of them struggle with injury. So it gets to this point of, okay, we're a bullpen away. We have Knebel, who hopefully can fill that top spot. Are we going to devote good money to buying relievers? So you can look at the top, remaining reliever free agents and Colin McHugh or Ryan Tepera. I think I'm saying his name right. And those guys are studs. Those guys might get 10, 12 million a year. You kind of go down the list and say, hey, maybe a Joe Kelly who still has heat and still is good. You could sign him for 6, 7 a year. Maybe a Brad Hand who's kind of needs a bounce back season. It's a boom or bust year for the Phillies, just like it is the Mets, because they don't really have much behind them. It's just, can we contend and how can we contend now? So
yeah, it's like building a house without its foundation, kind of.
Exactly.
It's probably not going to stand. They're a very, very top heavy team, like I said earlier. It's just, you're banking on so many guys to have bounce back years and stay healthy. Like Rhys Hoskins has finished back to back years on the DL or the IL. And then you have Brad Miller playing the final 40 games of the season at first base. Brad Miller is a great bat to have off the bench, but him hitting 220, his slash line being 220, 260, like 350, it's
it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's really not. All right. So let's now go up with Dylan. You're up to bat. You are big on the bullpen right now, correct? You're big on like what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I think we just need to supplement Knebel. I would prefer if we got I want to say real closer, and maybe if you pulled the strings on a premium prospect, Mick Abel or Andrew Painter, and you tried to trade for Craig Kimbrell and get someone who's actually like very much proven. Because if you get a real proven closer, then underneath them, these guys can slot in and maybe fill to their potential. But until the Phillies aren't just a dumpster fire in the pen, that psychological trauma, if you will, of losing out on the playoffs largely because of the bullpen is going to eat away at everything. And I think guys in the bullpen have to kind of feel that too. So it's how can we slot, $4 to $6 million a year towards another proven arm in the bullpen? And is that a mid-level guy? And can they actually hit on this player? Because as you know, we have a lot of other roster holes and maybe 30 million-ish of cap space.
I agree with you. I like, you know what? If we had like an average bullpen last year, we would have won 15 of those games. Yeah, that would not even just playoffs. Not even that. We would have actually won the NL East. We actually would have won the NL East last year.
I mean, 34 blown saves.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, we would have won the NL East with just 15. We actually would have blown it away at 15 if we just had 10 games that would
have blown it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Would have been close.
Exactly. And the Middleton needs to actually fix the farm system bullpen. It's been atrocious for the past 10 years. There's been no changes. And I'm sick and tired of going to see the Reading Phillies and Byron Picks. I went to Kutztown. I was always allowed to go there. They looked phenomenal on the field. And then you see them go up in the MLB and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, it was like
what happens when Driveline controls your farm system.
Exactly. There's like nothing. There was just nothing.
Hey, this guy can throw 98. Doesn't matter where the ball is going. Give him a contract.
Exactly. That's how they do it. It's honestly too, like, funny enough, that's kind of like the one movie, I forget what it's called. It had to do with it was $1 Million Arm. If you guys remember, it was a game show.
Sure.
Yeah, it was.
It
was almost like that.
Guys in where was it? India.
India.
The
John Hamm movie.
It was almost like
throwers.
It was almost like that, but instead of actually training them how to pitch, they just left them like that. It's completely terrible. And like, I don't know what the Phillies are going to do, but if they don't. Perfect. Cool. Yes. Oh my gosh. That is big for us. Anyway. Thank you, Zoom. Thank you, God. If you don't know, we're using Zoom to record our meetings. And let me just tell you, it's so hard to talk about a topic that we're so like in love with that we just want to bring out as much detail as possible. and Zoom makes you limited to 40 minutes. But this is also brought to you by Zoom. It's one of the best
Hey,
Sure,
no free
presenting
ads.
sponsor.
No free ads.
Yeah, no free ads.
no free
We
ads,
don't do
just
that.
40-minute
We don't do
limits.
that.
I'm
Come on,
kidding.
pay us, guys.
I'm
We
kidding.
gotta
I'm
cut that
kidding.
out. We gotta
I'm-
edit that out.
It's a joke.
I
It's
don't
a
know how, but
joke.
we gotta do it.
We'll bleep
Listen,
it out.
listen. I'm just. Hold up. I gotta because that's the time. I'm just roasting. I'm just roasting Zoom for not letting people have unlimited time on their app, and the fact that they have to pay 150. That is just my opinion. I think that's kind of bullish, and I say bullish like they're really trying to skyrocket their things. Like if you just legit make it in an hour, that would be okay. But 40 minutes, I'm sorry, but like with school and these kids these days, like classes don't go for just 40 minutes. That's very unfair. But I must agree with you back on that bullpen thing. I think the Phillies have not really done much for the bullpen already, even before the lockout, which we're going to be talking about
No,
later tonight.
there's
They're
that
not.
one signing, right? There's the one signing, and then there's some, not to cut you off, sorry, some minor league stuff and some waiver stuff. And it's just scary because when you're asking Coonrod and Alvarado and Brogdon to pick up the pieces of 165 innings, I mean,
And Dominguez. Can't forget about him.
Seranthony Hart. So sorry, Seranthony, my favorite injured pitcher.
Sir
No, but,
Anthony,
like,
no
he's
innings
good.
in the last 35 years.
Oh, Seranthony, I want to wait a year to get Tommy John. Oh, gosh. But what do we like? Hopefully he'll be good, and hopefully, I hadn't thought about that. Seranthony can come back and can contribute, but they're asking a lot of from guys who haven't proven that they can give a lot. And I think it's time, if you want to win, you have to get guys who've proven they can do it.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. Like, and the fact that we lost Hector Neris, who's one of our best pitchers in the past 10 years, like that just shows like
So an
Middleton's
extremely affordable contract.
Extremely affordable contract.
Yeah. What the hell was Middleton thinking? Like, I couldn't believe it when I saw. I was like, we could have easily afforded that. We had so much money. Middleton just paid the luxury tax. I know I'm going off
to 8 a year. Was it like 8 or 9?
I could search it up.
I think that's what it was. I think it was 2 years,
Hector
60
Neris
mil, which makes it
60
8
million?
annually.
And it was
Yeah.
just like, I mean, Hector put him at the 8, don't have him close games. Dombrowski was like, that's more what we want to give to the setup, man. You gave freaking.
What do you want to give
Knebel
a setup,
10
man?
million. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's not that much money, dude. Like it's not that crazy.
I mean, they gave Archie Bradley 6 mil last year, and he started.
Oh
I
my
think, like
God.
when they did
Stop.
closer by committee, he got a shot at it.
They're
paying Alvarado maybe $1 million. Maybe.
Yeah, no, he's on like the bare bones minimum.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's legit 2 years for it. I think it's 3 years for $8 million, but they also gets an option with that, meaning it would be 17 million across the board.
So 8 million.
So 8.5 annually.
Yeah, 8.5 annually. Like that's absolute. I'm sorry,
That's
that's
a
bull.
joke.
That's a joke. And the fact that Middleton
For
couldn't
someone
even
who
pay
wanted
that.
to stay in the organization too. Like
He's legit-
For
he
someone
said
who
that.
wants to
He
get this
said that.
trophy back, he's not really doing much about it.
No, he's not. And that's I don't want to go too hard because like I don't want Middleton ever banning me from the ballpark because you don't know if people are going to be like that. I don't think he's as bad as Dan Snyder though.
I think it'd be
so-
pretty cool to get banned from the ballpark.
Oh no, you'll be a
Kind of
legend.
infamous.
You'll be a legend. Like you our podcast.
I'd be like,
is
what? You
definitely-
don't want my $40 for your ticket? It's not like you're
Yeah.
gonna spend it anyway.
Actually, I personally think that's a good price for sitting down below in right field. Like that's actually a really good price for a Phillies game. Like I actually thought it was a lot more when I first looked online, but like when I saw $38 would be like in the row 1 of the outfield, I'm like, I'm sorry, that's
You
perfect.
can get them like not too bad if you look ahead. My little secret tactic is I always get it. I like to be behind home plate and just up a bit. Maybe I'm trying to think of the section, probably 300 something, but I always get it in. And I feel bad for saying this. If you get it in the dang handicap section, which isn't used, you know what I'm talking
The
about?
standing rooms, yeah.
Yeah, dude, and they give you your little
standing
chair,
room.
and it's awesome. Like,
I
'Cause
didn't.
they got that ledge too that you can lean on.
yeah, no, you get the ledge. It's a VIP thing, and it's not. It's not that
It is.
expensive.
I actually did that this year with my friend Tom.
The
He's a
ballpark hack.
Do
He
that all the
is.
time.
I did that with my friend Tom, and it was actually the best because like we got a perfect
Awesome.
view, and all you had to do was like, if you're old, I say no, you can't do that. But like if you're young like us, like hell yeah, it's easy to do. Just squat down, get your legs uncramped up and stuff. Like it's the perfect time to go to a ballpark, which I love that like Middleton did at least make that cheap, but who knows what if he goes above the luxury tax and he actually raises the prices because like that would be the stupidest thing ever.
It's
I wouldn't
hard
mind
because
him raising prices if he actually spent the money.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you're going out spending 15 mil on a 10-man bullpen. Like that,
Yeah.
come on.
No, I agree with you. Like that's like
he can
that would
charge
actually
whatever
make
he
sense.
wants if the team's better. Sorry, Austin.
Let me actually
No.
look up how much they spent on the bull.
Yeah, but tell me about that. I'm going to. Are we going? Do you guys want me to talk about the? No, which kind of is like weird with this podcast. You guys want us to talk about the Jeff Basin tweet that came out today?
Sure.
All right. Let me just pull it up because for some reason the Twitter gods are like, ha ha ha, screw you, Austin. Screw you. But this tweet came out today at 11:15 on January the 11th, 2022. I keep forgetting it's been so this whole COVID has made me realize that 2022 was 2 years ago already. Like that's crazy. But Jeff Passan tweeted out today that Major League Baseball and MLB Players Association plan to hold a bargaining session Thursday. Source tells ESPN. MLB is expected to make a core economics proposal at this session, which would be the first between the two sides since the league locked out the players on December 2nd. Now, this isn't going to say like completely like the whole lockout's over. Like this is just kind of one part of the deal, but this is a very big step to actually play baseball. What I really personally believe is this is not going to go well because in my opinion, the first meetings, because this is the first meeting between both sides since that day. And I do not see this going well at all because these associations do not get the idea of what the players want till the players actually start really telling them what they want. And for me, this will only be a bit of a jitter and jam towards them. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff said that's going to be really unsettling for the players and for the owners, which will cause like a bunch of backlash. It might even cause more resentment, which could, in fact, maybe withstand this whole lockout longer than what it could be. But I think that this is not going to go well. We'll not get our hopes up. I think this is just kind of going to be like setting the tone. It's going to be like a deal. It's like, all right, this is what we're going to give you. He's like, no, this is what we want. And just kind of find the median. What do you guys think about it?
I agree. I think it's going to be pretty ugly. It's going to be like going back to get your clothes from your ex's house, but you're still fighting about it. And just looking at and reading the little article in The Athletic here, you want to try and get something going by February, right? Because February 26th, spring training starts. Players need to report 2 to 3 weeks before that, early February. And what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is that neither side is really budging on much. So the NBA, for example, has had plenty of lockouts, and they constantly are in the flux of, okay, if you get this, we will give that, right? A little negotiating type thing. I don't know if the players and the owners are going to be able to do that with each other, at least at first. I don't know if there's going to be that kind of flexibility or if they're just going to be incredibly stubborn and trying to take incredibly hard lines with each other. I think it'll be a shame, though, if we miss out on spring training, because personally, I like going to spring training and I hope we get to have it.
Yeah, so not to go off topic at all, but right now the Phillies, I'll give you guys an over/under. Or no, I won't. Actually, I lied. I'll let you guys guess what the Phillies are spending on their bullpen right now.
Currently,
Oh,
with
Currently.
Knebel included.
With Knebel, yep.
what was Knebel's contract?
It's 1 year 10. So I'd say it's under 16.
No, I don't. I think it's going to be under 20.
I mean,
I don't know.
Well, if it's under 16, it does have to be under 20, Austin. You are right.
Oh, that's actually stupid.
Do you think it's over 15?
I think it's over 15. I think it's over 15. There's no way we only pay $15 million for a bullpen
annually. A lot of those guys are on like near minor league deals. Okay, let's say 18 million.
I say
your guys' final guess is
18.
Yeah, I'll say 18.
12 mil, 625,000.
Stop it.
12.6 mil.
You're joking.
That's it. They have right now. They have Knebel 1 year 10, Alvarado 1 year 1.9,
And then it's just like minor league minimum deals, right? Like
Dominguez 1 year, $725K.
Yeah.
And then Coonrod and Brogdon both are not under contract.
Oh no. Wait.
And those are the only relief pitchers that are listed on the FanGraphs roster.
That's pathetic. That I didn't even know it was that bad. I never even thought to look at that.
12.6 and 10 of that's devoted to 1 man.
That's ashtray money. A little shout out to Mr. Portnoy. That's ashtray money.
You know what? I'm gonna be like completely honest. I kind of want this lockout more now because that's pathetic. I can't. Oh no, you know what? Not even that. The Phillies need to just like get this lockout over as soon as possible to actually be like, yeah, we gotta fix this. That's terrible. That's actually terrible.
Disgusting. If you take away the Knebel contract, it's not even $3 million. It's a joke.
To a team that's
yeah, supposed to. But getting back to you guys to what you guys are talking about with the lockout and negotiations, and I don't know. I just feel like the owners are so old fashioned, and that they think they're kind of like the NFL owners. How like maybe Steve Cohen could be a Jerry Jones like parallel, where they think they have so much power because they have so much money. And in reality, like everyone knew this was coming. Back when like COVID first started and they couldn't get the season started, they couldn't agree on a freaking season. This like everyone was tweeting, "Oh man, December 2021 is not going to be good." So like they had time to figure something out, and they didn't even have to come to an agreement. They just had to agree on parameters, and then as they went, they can negotiate and agree to different deals. I mean, like they did it in 2020 when they brought in the DH, they made an adjustment. They could just do that again. I mean, I don't know if I'm missing something here, or it doesn't feel like it could be this simple, but they've done it before. If they just agreed to like an outline, because at this rate, you're not going to have spring training. You're pushing spring training back into March, assuming you have an agreement by Valentine's Day, which is the middle of February. You're looking best case scenario. Players get back into the facilities like a week later. You have everything gets pushed back a week. And then, I mean, you're losing close to 10 to 20 games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention all the rainouts you're going to have. Like, I think the Mets played 3 games in their first week and a half last year because, like, it snowed. There's about 5 tornadoes. I mean, it's like at this rate, you're looking at maybe 130 games, 140 games. And that's just if. Like, best case scenario, they do get a little bit of momentum and they can get something figured out by mid-February. Austin, what do you think?
Yeah.
I just 2 things too. I think like they are not going to figure it out. They really are.
Not me either, but
like they're like I can't. I don't want to be like to be like selling a thing like, oh, they're going to figure it out and this is how they're going to do it. No, I'm sorry, they're not going to figure it out.
According to sources, no.
No, this is not. It's not. There's no. I have no hope for the bullpen as of right now, and it's scary because I decided to search it up quick, and a little off topic. The Phillies are actually 10th on payroll.
So is that 10th in
like
other
cap
dudes,
like 10th from the bottom?
Yeah, like they're legit for their cap space for the bullpen. They're 10th in the MLB. Turns out bullpen relief is.
You mean
not
their payroll?
Yeah, their whole payroll is only like they're 10th in all of baseball for the bullpen payroll. Now, let me ask, just for fun, because we have all this little time. What do you guys think the top 5 teams are for payrolls? And I think number 1's easy.
Well, in total payroll, we're in the top 5.
Yes, but for the bullpen.
For the bullpen expenditures, are you going to look at maybe the Braves with Will Smith's contract?
No, actually.
I would say
number 6.
Dodgers.
No.
White Sox. White Sox have to be up there.
They are. They're number 2. The White Sox are number 2.
They're number 2
They're number 2.
with Kimbrel and Hendricks. And
Yes.
man, who would number 1 be?
It's-
Is it what league?
It is the American League.
Is it the
It's
Yankees?
not the Astros.
Yes, the Yankees. Now the
the Yankees,
Astros
okay.
are actually 4th.
Okay.
If you want to
We
know
got
the
1,
top
2, and
5,
4.
we have 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, what are the top 5?
There are 2 more, and I'll give you a hint. They're both in the National League.
Milwaukee.
I
No.
was gonna ask.
Do you want a geography
Uh,
guess for one?
I'm terrible with geography.
Well, I mean, like, all right. How about like the league? I'll say the
I had a
West.
test. I had a test first day sophomore year in high school, and it was
Oh, no.
just like a straight up map of the world, and we had to just put countries and name like lakes and oceans. I got a 34 on it.
That's tough.
It was
Congratulations.
170 questions too.
Oh,
So I got like,
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm not a math guy either. But what were you saying?
But no, the geography I'm gonna say is the NL West.
Padres.
Padres are number 3, and number 1 is in our division. Number 5 is in our division.
Did we say
Mets.
Mets?
The Mets, there they are. Number 1 is the New York Yankees with $43 million. The White
So
Sox
they're
are
10?
yeah.
Oh, Chapman's a big contract.
Then Chicago White Sox are $42 million.
I really thought the
Wow.
White Sox would have been more.
They're only 1.4 less if I'm reading that correct.
But the disparity between the top 5 and us at 10 is
With my head,
incredible.
I'm just gonna like use a calculator quick, just to see if I was right with the numbers. It was
Your hand is still up there too.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I don't know how to turn it off. I thought I thought
Same
that
way
was
you turn it
Are
on.
we
Oh, is that
listed
you?
at number 10
Mhm.
with that 12 million?
Oh, I put
I
that
think
wrong.
12 mil
1.3
is for this upcoming year.
Is for
It's
this upcoming year.
currently, yeah,
Yeah. So last year is probably like, I don't know.
Then
I want to
13 mil.
Yeah. Exactly.
so the Padres are 35 million. The Houston Astros are 30 million, and the Mets are 28. Which is kind of funny because like the Mets bullpen sucks.
Sucks.
So
Yeah.
that's a positive for
Well,
us.
Edwin Diaz is there. That's a big contract.
The weird
I
thing
think.
too is for some reason the Cubs and the Cleveland Guardians have 0. I don't know what that's all about.
They might not have any under contract right now
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, that
because
actually
I
sucks.
literally can't name a single reliever in either of their bullpens.
Well, I used to remember Kim.
I
No,
wish
Kimber
I
was on the
could.
Cubs. That's right.
Yeah. Tepera got traded from the Cubs to the White
That's
Sox. So,
right. I forgot about that. That was a crazy.
Yeah, all
crazy
the Cubs
trade.
relievers just literally just moved to the other Chicago team.
It's
I
true.
wonder what that's like having 2 baseball teams in your city. Imagine if we had 2 teams.
Yeah, it's not like we
How
had
funny
one
that would
before.
be.
It wasn't like we had one before. I used to have an athletic
One of
set.
my buddies up at school, his dad's from New York, so I was kind of hoping he would be a Mets fan, just like rag on him all the time. He was like, "No, I'm a Yankees fan actually." I was like, "Oh."
Little peeve
So
of
like
mine,
every time I try to bring something up, he's like, 27 rings, bro.
I hate the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. Literally, my
I
least
think Yankees
favorite.
suck. I can't stand the Yankees, but my Nana, she was a diehard Yankees fan. And she actually saw Joe DiMaggio's last game and Mickey Mantle's first ever game at Yankee Stadium back in the 50s. So like I don't have
Yeah,
a
that's
hatred
pretty
towards I don't have a hatred towards the Yankees like others. Like
I have a hatred.
I have more of a hatred towards the Mets. I can't stand the Mets more than the Yankees. I don't hate the Yankees. I hate Yankees fans. I can't stand the Yankees fans. They're the cockiest people I've ever met. They're honestly
me too.
just
I almost fought one when I was
Yeah,
7.
you almost fought one. Yeah.
That's true. Like every time I hear a Yankees fan and they just are touting like, "Oh yeah, look at all the rings," I'm like, "Yeah, you're pathetic."
Forget about it.
Oh, now this is actually another thing that came up. We're actually 1.2 let's see. Wait, let me. We're exactly 1 million under the national average for bullpen.
That was last year.
No, this year, because this is about this year. Last year, I didn't think about last year. Let me see what it was like last year.
So it's interesting. We're 1 million under the national average, but we are a top 5 in total payroll team.
Yeah,
And unlike the usual suspects for total payroll,
Well, we're still paying
Astros,
Scott
Yankees.
Kingery.
Yeah,
It's
4
true.
million, right?
And
Something
also
like that.
last year the Phillies were actually 17th ranked, and they only had paid 7 million, and the national average for that was 12.3. So last year was a lot worse. At least this year they spent some money, but they need to spend a lot
Oh,
more.
we were
to
also
win
paying
overall.
Andrew McCutcheon $20 million last year.
Oh, yeah,
What a bad contract. I mean,
that was a bad. He actually wasn't that bad though. I think people overreacted.
Yeah,
on
did
it.
Oh, dude,
you guys
Douglas-
remember when he got interviewed, like right after he signed? He was like, "Why did you sign in Philadelphia?" And then his answer was like, "Did you see what they paid me?" That was funny.
Oh yeah. Also, I forgot all about this. Before we end this, because I do got to do something tonight.
Yeah.
Is Jim Gardner's last 11 p.m. slot. After tonight, he will be retiring from Action News 6. He was the voice of Philadelphia for the past 40 years, and it's gonna be
Oh, is he
really
the
sad.
news guy?
Yeah, the 6 ABC guy. I'm a 6 ABC
Yeah.
guy. If you guys, I don't because I know some
Okay.
people listen to NBC 10, CBS 3. I'm more 6 ABC. But like it's a good. I just want to say he was a good part of our childhood for like telling us about snow days and stuff, and he's gonna be missed in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, real quick, guys. I'm just totaling up the amount the Phillies spent on their bullpen last year. Right now, I'm at a whopping 7.2 mil.
On here, it says exactly 7
from-
mil. 7 mil.
This is from last year. Right now, I'm at Ian Kennedy, who's on a $2 million contract, but the Phillies paid him $200K. Cool.
Oh God, Ian Kennedy. He
He wasn't that bad though. I thought, he filled in that role okay. Like he obviously wasn't the answer. You guys don't like him?
Do you guys think I should count Christopher Sanchez and Adonis Medina?
Yeah.
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 And the Phillies spent last year a total of $8,021,889 on their bullpen.
That would have just been the Kansas City Royals. That's terrible.
That
Really
includes $5 million of that was the Hector Neris. $1 million was the Jose Alvarado. And Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Forgot about that
$610K.
guy.
Just to rehab.
The ghost of Christmas past.
Jesus. That was terrible. But are you guys good with maybe calling on a night here?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Cool.
yeah, it was awesome to talk to you guys tonight. I really enjoyed the conversations, especially about the NL East predictions, the bullpen, and of course about how pathetic
The
the
money
Phillies
talk.
bullpen is. Oh, dude, I can't even talk about it. Like I'm gonna be dumbfounded the rest of the night. But I just want to say thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back next week with more topics. Hopefully, maybe we'll have this whole meeting with Deja Pass and Stockham out end with a positive outcome. Maybe we'll even have some news about signings in the Philadelphia's GM because obviously we're going to need some help. And I think that should be it.
And the Eagles will be playing in the divisional round.
And go Birds, of course. Hell yeah.
Also, Zoom. Zoom can email us about how they want to pay us for that little advertisement.
Yeah, advertisement. No, they need to pay. They need to actually stop making us limited.
Crypto or
40
check are
minutes.
fine.
Yeah, we will fix that next week, people, where we don't look stressed out about anything. Because I'm looking at the Zoom thing right now. I can't believe it's $125 a year to pay for that. Like, come on, it could be so much cheaper. But all right, everyone, it was nice seeing you guys. Have a good night.
Good talking to you
All right, boys.
See you.
Go Birds.